What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that title was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. It's Brandon Tatum says the friend of Nolan Wells have raised over 100K in less than 48 hours. As a lot of y'all know, a lot of them, a lot of these boys going through the motions right now. And I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of individuals going through. It's so much stuff that has been going on, so many things. But one thing about it is that because I've been seeing gifts and goals, I've been seeing GoFundMe's different. It's so many things that I want to share, with y'all. Says they're gearing up to sue Benjamin Crump and countless others after facing weeks of accusations, harassment, and threats. And honestly, I can't say that I blame them. I'm not even gonna lie. Says young man cooperated with law enforcement, turned over information, and were questioned. Yet internet personalities declared them guilty before an investigation was complete and before any charges were filed, as many of y'all know. Sarah Fields definitely posted, says in just 7 hours, we raised over 40,000 this beforehand. And same thing, you have, this is to help cover legal fees against people, that's basically has threatened you, has done a lot, when it comes down to it. And it's definitely sickening. Now, one thing about it is that you truly have people that donate about $1 to $5 that are still leaving threats on these donations. And it truly just goes to show you on how sickening these individuals are. You have a post by Fox News. Sacramento man was arrested allegedly sending bomb threats and violent messages to a Mississippi judge, the mother of one of Nolan Wells' friends who was with them the day he disappeared. Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Dumarcy, I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, 27, faced federal charge of interstate transmission of a threatening communication after authorities say he sent Jackson County Court Judge Ashley Cole a serious Facebook message referring some nasty things. I'm not even gonna lie, I can't say too much on here, but it just goes to show you on how sickening individuals can be. So I'm telling y'all, it's one of those things that truly is nasty. These are one of the individuals right here. Says this is the second threat case, Nolan Wells. This individual right here is Michelle Edwards of Cincinnati, Ohio area, has been charged with transmitting bomb threats. The complaint states that on July 23rd, 2026, Edwards made multiple threatening phone calls targeting, the court, George County Court, to Jackson County Sheriff's Office. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office, two agencies connected to the ongoing Nolan Wells case. Again, things that I can't say is truly sickening on what these individuals truly do. Federal investigators further stated that the calls included, bomb threats directed at these offices, something that you truly cannot do. However, says right here, one interesting detail in the complaint is that investigators say Edwards attempted to conceal her identity by dialing *67, which blocks caller ID from appearing on their, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. I don't want to say nothing, in the wrong way. Says here, however, there we go. *7 does not hide caller's information from the telephone carrier. According to the complaint, the FBI was able to trace the phone number through legal process, ultimately linking it to Edwards. Dummy. Investigators also alleged the number appeared in multiple reports associated with the Cincinnati Police Department. So her thinking that *67 is going to work truly didn't. Go to show you right there. You have a third person has now been arrested for threatening the young man connected to what? I truly don't know why these individuals are doing this. Although it's not right to do it, even if something were to happen with any individual, but just it goes to show you that nothing has happened at all. There's no foul play. There's no evidence that something happened. They're saying these things and doing these things. Truly sickening. Edward Porter of Illinois is charged in a federal criminal complaint with transmitted threatening communication. This is another, threatening investigation. Porter was tracked to a second address, the one nearby Maywood, Illinois, the two cities within the 5 mile radius. Says here, according to by Homeland Security investigation, Special Agent Christopher Clark, Porter made threats to two witnesses through phone calls and text messages Friday. Something that, again, I can't say on here. Porter is accused of calling a second witness and threatening to do something to those individuals unalive. According to the complaint, threatened to unalive witness and do some crazy things. I'm not even gonna lie. Something that, again, I cannot say on here because it is pretty violent, pretty messed up thing to say. I'm telling y'all. You have it right here. Says Nolan Wells' parents are asking questions no parent should ever have to ask. What happened to our son? This is them on Como's with Como, and I again, it's one of those things. It's definitely one of those things. I mean, it's definitely a sad thing, but the way they're putting it, it just doesn't sit right with me. Check it out.
Chris Como, Nolan is dead. We're going to dot every I. We're going to cross every T. We're going to look under every rock. His mother called his phone repeatedly with no answer. That raises questions. That's all we want to get to is answers. If this was your child, Chris Como, wouldn't you want to ask every question possible for every...
I feel like so many people are missing that. You have every right to ask those questions. You know, I feel like that what anybody would do, but it's the way that they're doing things within asking those questions and how they're treating people and the things that they say leading up to so many individuals that are now threatening. Instead of telling everybody, you know, we need to, you know, people need to chill, people need to do this, people need to do that. They're not.
Who was on Horn Island to say, did you see what happened to Nolan? What happened? Where was he at? And that's all they're asking, and people are attacking them for trying to get answers. Can you imagine that? She's getting attacked at her job. She's getting bad job reviews. She had never gotten any in her entire career. And now, since she's been going on TV saying, I want to get answers for my son, she's been attacked by sick individuals trying to, I guess, in some way discourage them from continuing to say his name and say that we won't let it be swept under.
That's some BS. I feel like that's some BS. That's not something that they're truly doing. They simply said on those reviews, from the reviews that I've seen, that they don't feel comfortable if you're pushing this whole pro-black narrative. That we don't really like what white people are doing, white people this, white people that. When you have white patients, what do you expect them to do? You expect them to just feel like they're comfortable enough to go somewhere? You expect your kids or your husband or your wife or anybody to go in any type of professional area of anything, and somebody is speaking like that on the internet? Hell no, I wouldn't. I don't care what color. If I feel like you sitting there and you know, I just feel like that's something that's definitely unprofessional that you do. And then you with this, let me. I gotta watch what I say on here, bro.
I understand that.
I'm sorry.
Obviously, that's why we're all together right now, right? Christine, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get these answers. Do you believe, or do you have any reason to believe, that this investigation is doing exactly what you want it to do?
Sure. Well, we know at the beginning they started out saying there was no foul play even before there was any investigation, Chris. So that was a concern to them at day one.
That was the trigger for why we felt we had to go this route, because it wasn't even hours after they had found his body where I'm watching on the news that the sheriff is saying likely an accidental drowning. We do not feel there's any foul play, but yet stories are not lining up. And so from there, that's why we're here now.
Elmore, again, I really don't know how you guys are holding it together and being able to stay focused. But I'm here for it as long as there is the need. When you look at this situation, what is your darkest concern that you just want to make sure isn't true?
I've already lived my darkest concern. Um, we just want the truth. We just want someone to be brave enough to stand up and give us the truth. We can't grieve the way we need to because we're being disrespected. We're being called all kind of racist, bad parents. We were not raised like that, and we did not raise our children like that. So we just want the truth. Any parent would want that. Any father would want that. Any
Understood.
mother.
Understood and true. And I know.
I feel like anybody would definitely want the truth, and I feel like so many people aren't taking it. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to take that away from them, but the thing is like it goes away when you sit there and you want the truth, but then you add into things of getting people fired up, pushing this whole pro-black, and want to, oh yeah, we want everybody to hate, and when it comes down to white people and this person and this kid and this person, I don't like that. I don't like the division that a lot of this is causing. Rather whoever you are. I feel like it's one of those things. But one thing about it is that, of course, you will want those answers on what happened to
Well, we
Nolan.
know one thing, and I know that this is not a time for solace, but there is one thing that has become constant in this story. You raised a beautiful young man who everybody sees exactly through that lens, that he was everything that you would want a son to have. And I have one just about that age. And everything I hear is exactly what you would want to hear, even in this young life. So God bless Nolan and his memory, and we will stay on this story and get.
And I don't, and that's one thing that a lot of people, I can definitely say is that you would obviously want, I want that, you want those answers, but you can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, this person did it, and I know they did, and this you can't do that, can't do that
My
at all.
initial thoughts was like once Al Sharpton got involved, and I'm like, Al Sharpton did the eulogy? Didn't make sense to me. And now when I see them flying to Chicago and Ben Crump, it's like, doesn't make sense to me. And I don't see a local minister. It makes me, and I know we got to be careful with speculation, but it's like, hey, did they have a church home? Did they have any elder ministerial figure? It just seems like they seem to be homeless spiritually, because at some point you would just think they would have some local minister that was a part of this, and I just don't see that.
Grief can be an amplifier of all sorts of emotions and behaviors. If you've looked at any public, highly publicized funeral in the last year, you've seen that grief can do that. And there's judgment from all sides. People are saying, well, this person should behave this way. They shouldn't behave that way. They should be. I try to reserve a lot of that and just hold on to the fact. And you quoted the verse in Romans where Paul says, rejoice with those who rejoice, but weep with those who weep.
They got this 18-year-old son, and they got all these dreams for him, and they envisioning him going out into the world. This is the arrow that they've shot into the world, and at 18 years old, it's gone. That arrow's gone. And one of the things I think you can do in the grieving process is like, man, my son was going to have an impact on this world. How can I add additional meaning to his life now that he's been taken from me at 18? And I think Al Sharpton and Ben Crump have played on that. Oh, we know how we can get your son meaning, and his name will stand the test of time, and he will be a voice for other people. Maybe your son wasn't wrongly killed, but these other guys that have been wrongly killed, your son can be a voice for them and get justice for them. That's how we give your son's life meaning, and they're going for it right now.
That's highly. I mean, that's very possible in this situation.
Wow.
And as you lay it out, look at what that could do. There are parents who have to sit with the accidents that happen. We don't hear about them because they're local news. We don't hear about all the ones that are said, hey, you know what, we're sorry, we've done the investigation, they just drowned, and they have to just sit with. But here's an avenue to where, because of the heat of the moment, okay, we can get some national eyes on this, and
Yep.
this will kind of soothe that ache of grief.
I'm not gonna lie. That it what they truly are talking about, it truly makes sense. And honestly, you're gonna have people that are very so much in denial about that, but it truly makes sense to the simple fact that that's just like with the last case that we just got done talking about with Carmelo Anthony. They seen something, and I've told so many people this. I've told so many people this. Y'all truly have something, mind y'all got something that a lot of people was not paying attention to at all until Charleston White said more so much about it. And he said it himself. He said something about it, and then a lot more people start getting into it. Okay, well, yeah, this, that, and the other. He did this, he did that. They made that a racial thing. Wasn't a racial thing. Wasn't a racial thing at all. A lot of people are gonna say it is. A lot of, and when that first happened, y'all can go back and look. When that first happened, I'm pretty sure as soon as I was like, man, I need to look into this. And then I started to see I started to see over the months so many people. And then it got worse as the trials, started and stuff. It got 10 times worse. And then you got people saying this and saying that. I'm telling y'all, and it's truly, truly sickening on, what so many people do, what Ben Crump is doing. You had Como that was asked that question to Christine. Who answered? Ben Crump. He's the first one that wants to answer. And it's more so of them taking control, and them wanting to put their name out there, be that voice, rather than them actually wanting to know what happened. And it's more so like they're dragging it. They're dragging it. And it's truly sad on how they're doing it and how they want that remembrance of Nolan to be. You know what I mean? I'm not about to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I think this happened or this happened. I don't want to assume about nothing. Wait on those, and with this investigation, wait on those facts. But one thing about it is that just like nobody is not taking away the fact that we trying to figure out what happened, to Nolan. It's what they're doing within this, and they explained it correctly. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think down below. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Catch y'all next one.